We all encounter toxic people, the ones who drain our energy, manipulate situations, and create chaos wherever they go. But the way we respond to them determines whether they hold power over us or whether we rise above. Smart minds don't waste their energy fighting battles that don't serve them. They understand that attention is currency, and toxic people thrive on it. So instead of reacting emotionally, they make a conscious decision to disengage. They don't get caught up in unnecessary drama because they know that emotions cloud judgment. Instead, they respond with control. They pause, reflect, and choose their words or their silence wisely. They don't give toxic people the reaction they crave. And let's talk about boundaries. Smart minds don't just set them, they enforce them. They don't explain, they don't justify, and they certainly don't feel guilty about them. They understand that saying no is an act of self-respect, not an invitation for negotiation. But the real power move, they don't absorb toxicity, they observe it. They recognize patterns, they understand motives, but they refuse to carry the weight of someone else's negativity. Instead of letting toxicity affect their mood, they become students of human behavior. They learn, and then they move on. Perhaps the most effective strategy of all, silence. Toxic people want engagement. They want you to defend yourself, argue, or seek validation. Smart people don't give them that satisfaction. They master the art of silence, not as weakness, but as an undeniable display of strength. And finally, instead of wasting time in petty conflicts, smart minds take a different route. They elevate. They don't stoop to the level of toxic individuals. They stay focused on their purpose, their growth, and their peace. Their success becomes the loudest response. Because in the end, the smartest way to deal with toxicity isn't to fight it. It's to rise so high above it that it can no longer reach you. Toxic people feed off your reaction. They thrive on drama, manipulation, and chaos. Their greatest weapon isn't their words or actions, it's your response to them. Every time you engage, defend yourself, or argue, you unknowingly fuel their influence over your life. Smart minds understand that disengagement is the most effective counterattack. Think about it. When you argue with a toxic person, do they actually listen? Do they reflect on what you're saying? Or do they twist your words, manipulate the situation, and make you feel guilty for even speaking up? Toxic individuals aren't looking for resolution, they're looking for control. And the moment you engage, you give them exactly what they want, your energy, your attention, and ultimately your peace of mind. Engagement gives toxic people validation. It confirms that they can push your buttons and dictate your emotions. Whether it's a passive-aggressive comment, an unnecessary argument, or an outright attack, their goal is simple: to get a reaction. Because if you react, it means they matter. Smart individuals recognize this pattern. They understand that not every battle is worth fighting, and some battles are designed just to drain you. Instead of diving into emotional chaos, they take a step back. They ask themselves, will engaging with this person change anything? Do I want to give them control over my emotions? Most of the time, the answer is no. And that's when they choose the most powerful response: no response at all. Disengagement isn't about being passive, it's about being strategic. It means refusing to let someone else dictate your mental and emotional state. It means recognizing that silence is sometimes louder than words. You disrupt their control. Toxic people expect a reaction. When you don't give it to them, they lose their power over you. You conserve your energy. Instead of wasting time on meaningless conflict, you redirect your focus toward things that actually matter. You send a clear message. Your silence tells them, you don't have control over me, and that speaks volumes. Disengagement doesn't mean ignoring every difficult situation. It means choosing your battles wisely. Smart minds don't fight every war. They fight wars that are worth winning. How to disengage without guilt. Many people struggle with disengagement because they feel like they need to defend themselves. They think that if they don't argue back, they're letting the toxic person win. But that's not true. The real win is when you refuse to participate in a losing game. Here's how smart minds disengage effectively. Set boundaries early. Make it clear what behaviors you will and won't tolerate. Detach emotionally. Don't let their words get under your skin. They are trying to trigger you. Don't let them succeed. Choose silence over reaction. A lack of response is sometimes the most powerful response. Walk away when needed. If someone is draining your peace, remove yourself from the situation without explaining yourself. Redirect your focus. Instead of dwelling on negativity, invest your energy into personal growth, meaningful relationships, and things that truly bring you joy. The ultimate strength: toxic people crave power, but power isn't given, it's taken. The moment you stop engaging, you take back control. You show that your peace is more important than their drama. And that is the ultimate strength. You don't defeat toxicity by fighting it, you defeat it by starving it. Because a toxic person without an audience is just a person talking to themselves. Toxic people are masters of emotional manipulation. They provoke, instigate, and push buttons, not because they seek resolution, but because they seek control. They know that if they can trigger a reaction from you, they have power over you. But intelligent people don't react, they respond. They understand that emotional control isn't just about staying calm, it's about refusing to let toxic individuals dictate their mental and emotional state. Think of a time when someone provoked you and you lashed out in frustration or anger. How did it turn out? Did the situation improve or did it escalate? Toxic people feed off impulsive reactions because it shifts the focus onto you. The moment you lose control, you give them ammunition to paint you as the problem. But intelligent people refuse to fall into this trap. They understand that emotional control is not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. Instead of reacting on impulse, they take a pause, they assess the situation with clarity and respond in a way that serves their best interests, not their temporary emotions. The difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is impulsive, it's driven by emotions like anger, frustration, or resentment. It happens in the heat of the moment without thought or strategy. Reacting often leads to regret because it gives toxic people exactly what they want, your energy and attention. Responding, on the other hand, is intentional. It's a calculated choice. Instead of immediately engaging, intelligent people take a breath, observe, and decide whether a response is even necessary. More often than not, they find that the best response is no response at all. How smart people maintain emotional control? They pause before reacting. Instead of lashing out immediately, they take a deep breath and ask themselves, will this response solve anything? Am I acting out of emotion or logic? This moment of pause gives them clarity and prevents them from being manipulated. They detach from toxic behavior. Intelligent individuals don't take insults, passive-aggressive comments, or manipulation personally. They recognize that toxicity is a reflection of the other person's internal battles, not their own worth. They refuse to engage in emotional battles. Toxic people love arguments because they thrive on chaos, but smart minds understand that not every comment deserves a response. They pick their battles wisely and avoid unnecessary conflicts. They use silence as a strategy. Nothing frustrates a toxic person more than being ignored. When they can't provoke a reaction, they lose their power. Silence isn't weakness, it's a power move. They redirect their energy toward growth. Instead of wasting time engaging with negativity, intelligent people focus on their own development, relationships, and goals. They invest their energy into things that bring them peace and fulfillment rather than feeding into drama. Mastering the art of emotional control is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. The next time a toxic person tries to push your buttons, remind yourself you are in control, not them. Instead of arguing, stay calm. Instead of proving a point, let your silence speak. Instead of reacting emotionally, respond strategically. When you master emotional control, you take back your power. Toxic people can no longer influence your peace, your happiness, or your mindset. Because at the end of the day, the strongest person in the room isn't the one who shouts the loudest, it's the one who stays unshaken. Boundaries are not suggestions, they are not requests. They are the clear lines we draw to protect our peace, energy, and self-respect. Smart minds understand this. They know that if they don't set boundaries, someone else will dictate the terms of their life. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection, guilt, or confrontation. They worry about upsetting others, but here's the truth. The people who get upset about your boundaries are the very reason you need them. Toxic individuals test limits. They push, manipulate, and guilt trip their way into taking more than they are entitled to. If you give an inch, they'll take a mile. That's why boundaries must be firm and enforced without apology. Because if you don't protect your peace, no one else will. Imagine leaving your front door wide open. Anyone, friend or stranger, can walk in, take what they want, and leave a mess behind. That's what life without boundaries looks like. It invites chaos, disrespect, and exhaustion. Smart minds don't operate this way. They lock their doors, physically, emotionally, and mentally. They decide who gets access to their time, attention, and energy. And they do so without guilt. Define self-worth. They communicate to others that you respect yourself enough to set limits. Protect energy. They prevent toxic people from draining your mental and emotional reserves. Eliminate unnecessary stress. They reduce conflicts, misunderstandings, and resentment. Create healthier relationships. They teach people how to treat you and ensure mutual respect. Setting boundaries with confidence. Be clear and direct. Vague boundaries don't work. Smart minds clearly state their limits without room for negotiation. Instead of saying, I'd prefer if you didn't talk to me that way. They say, I will not tolerate disrespect. If it continues, I will remove myself from the conversation. No explanations, no justifications, just clarity. Many people struggle with the word no because they feel the need to explain. Smart minds understand that no is a complete sentence. They don't justify, argue, or seek validation. If something doesn't align with their values, priorities, or energy, they decline firmly and politely. A boundary without consequences is just a suggestion. If someone repeatedly crosses a line, there must be action. If a friend constantly disrespects your time, stop making plans with them. If a colleague speaks to you unprofessionally, address it once, then escalate if necessary. Smart minds don't just set boundaries, they uphold them. The biggest roadblock to strong boundaries is guilt. People worry about being perceived as rude or selfish, but boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about ensuring the right people stay. Anyone who truly respects you will respect your boundaries. Reevaluate and adjust when needed. As life evolves, so should your boundaries. Smart minds routinely assess whether certain relationships, commitments, or situations align with their well-being. If something no longer serves them, they adjust accordingly without apology. Boundaries are not meant to please. They're meant to protect. People may resist when you first establish boundaries. Some may test them. Others may walk away. Let them. Your peace is worth more than temporary discomfort. At the end of the day, boundaries are acts of self-respect. They are the walls that protect your energy, peace, and happiness. And the smartest minds, they don't wait for permission to enforce them. They set them, they stand by them, and they thrive because of them. One of the most powerful traits of intelligent individuals is their ability to observe without absorbing. They don't let negativity seep into their minds. They don't take toxic behavior personally. Instead, they step back, analyze, and make decisions based on logic, not emotion. In a world filled with negativity, criticism, and manipulation, this skill is invaluable. Toxic people project their insecurities, fears, and frustrations onto others, but smart minds refuse to be emotional sponges. They recognize that other people's negativity is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. Why? Absorbing negativity is dangerous. When you internalize toxicity, it begins to shape how you see yourself in the world. If someone constantly belittles you and you absorb it, you may start questioning your worth. If someone manipulates you into feeling guilty and you accept it, you may begin apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Lower self-esteem, when you take criticism personally, you start believing lies about yourself. Emotional exhaustion, constantly carrying other people's negativity drains your energy. Clouded judgment, absorbing emotions makes it harder to see situations clearly and make rational decisions. Unnecessary stress, worrying about others' opinions, and toxic behaviors only adds to your anxiety. Smart minds approach negativity like scientists, not victims. Instead of getting emotionally entangled, they observe patterns, motives, and intentions. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this situation? By observing, they gain understanding without attachment. They see through manipulative tactics, recognize projection, and refuse to let other people's negativity control their emotions. Not every insult, criticism, or negative comment deserves a reaction. The moment you realize someone's negativity isn't yours to carry, you free yourself. Remind yourself, this is their issue, not mine. See people for who they are, not who you want them to be. We often get hurt because we expect people to be better than they are. Smart individuals accept people as they are, not as they wish them to be. When someone shows their true nature, they believe it. They don't make excuses for toxic behavior. Detached from emotional manipulation, toxic people thrive on making you feel responsible for their emotions. Smart minds recognize this tactic and refuse to participate. If someone tries to guilt trip them, they don't engage. If someone plays the victim, they don't rush to rescue them. Stay grounded in self-worth. The stronger your self-worth, the less you internalize negativity. Confident individuals know who they are, so an insult or a toxic remark doesn't shake them. They don't seek validation from those who thrive on bringing others down. Turn every negative experience into a lesson. Smart people use toxic encounters as a learning experience. Instead of dwelling on the negativity, they ask themselves, what can I learn from this? They grow from adversity rather than allowing it to consume them, the ultimate strength. Remaining unshaken, you become untouchable. Toxic words, passive-aggressive comments, and manipulative tactics lose their power over you. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how much power you give them. So choose wisely, observe but never absorb, learn but never let their darkness dim your light. because the strongest minds are the ones that remain unshaken. Toxic people thrive on arguments. They want a reaction. They want you to defend yourself, explain yourself, and get emotionally involved. Why? Because the moment you engage, they win. They gain power over your emotions, steal your energy, and pull you into their chaos. But the smartest individuals know the truth. Silence is a power move. It communicates strength, self-control, and confidence without wasting energy on people who don't deserve it. Silence isn't weakness, it's a strategic tool that forces toxic people to confront their own words and actions. Why arguing with toxic people is a losing battle. Have you ever tried to reason with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you? Someone who twists your words, manipulates the conversation, and refuses to listen? That's what it's like arguing with a toxic person. It's a trap. They don't want resolution. Toxic individuals argue to create drama, not to solve problems. They will never admit fault. No matter how logical your points are, they will twist the truth to suit their narrative. They drain your energy. Even if you win the argument, you lose valuable time and mental peace. They want to control the conversation. When you engage, they dictate the emotional tone. Smart minds recognize this game and refuse to play. Instead, they choose silence. Silence is not passive, it's calculated. It sends a message louder than words ever could. Toxic people expect a reaction. When they don't get it, they feel powerless. Silence forces them to sit with their own negativity without you fueling it. Instead of wasting time arguing, you conserve your mental and emotional strength for things that truly matter. Silence shifts control back to you. When you stay silent, you take back control of the situation. You dictate the terms, not them. Ignoring negativity communicates, "You are not worth my energy. I don't need to explain myself to you." Silence exposes the truth. When toxic people don't get a reaction, they often escalate their behavior, revealing their true nature to everyone around them. Eventually, they unravel on their own. Physically removing yourself from an argument or toxic conversation is one of the most powerful ways to disengage. You don't owe anyone a response. Not every situation requires a reaction. Ask yourself, is my response going to change anything, or will it just drain my energy? If the answer is no, remain silent. If you must respond, keep it brief. A simple "okay" or "noted" shuts down further manipulation without giving them anything to work with. When someone is trying to provoke you, let them talk. Stay calm, don't react, and watch how frustrated they become when you refuse to engage. Sometimes the best response to a toxic person is no response at all. No arguments, no explanations, just distance. The ultimate strength. Staying silent when it matters most. Toxic people want your energy, your attention, your reaction. But the moment you take that away, they lose all power over you. Silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of strength. It's the ability to walk away, to protect your peace, and to refuse to be controlled by negativity. And that is the ultimate power move. Toxic people want to pull you into their world, a world of arguments, negativity, and drama. They crave attention, validation, and control. And the easiest way they achieve this? By provoking you, by making you feel small, by distracting you from your true path. But the smartest minds refuse to play that game. Instead of lowering themselves to the level of toxic individuals, they elevate. They choose success over pettiness, growth over revenge, and purpose over meaningless conflict. They understand one simple truth: nothing frustrates toxic people more than watching you rise while they remain stuck in negativity. Why elevation is more powerful than confrontation. Confrontation with toxic people is often a waste of energy. It doesn't change them. It doesn't fix the situation. It only pulls you away from what truly matters. Arguing with them won't change their mindset. They aren't looking for truth. They are looking for control. Fighting them only gives them more power. They feed off negativity, and your anger fuels their influence. Engaging with them is a distraction. Every moment spent in conflict is a moment stolen from your own growth and success. But when you elevate, when you focus on becoming your best self, you win without ever needing to fight. Elevation isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's not about showing off or getting revenge. It's about choosing yourself over their toxicity. Intelligent individuals stay locked in on their goals. They don't allow negativity to pull them off course. They know that their energy is best spent on progress, not pointless arguments. Surrounding themselves with growth-minded people, elevation means removing yourself from environments that drag you down and choosing relationships that uplift you. Smart people invest in communities, mentors, and friendships that align with their values and ambitions, letting success speak for itself. Toxic people want you to stoop to their level. Instead, let your results do the talking. Growth, success, and inner peace are the ultimate responses. When you thrive, their words become irrelevant. Rising above petty battles, not every insult needs a response. Not every argument deserves your time. The more you rise above the noise, the harder it becomes for toxic people to reach you. Focusing on inner strength, true elevation, isn't just external success, it's about inner growth. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that no insult, no manipulation, and no toxicity can shake you. How to elevate instead of engage. Pause before reacting. When someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, will this matter in a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. Refuse to let temporary emotions control your long-term progress. Instead of engaging in toxic battles, invest that energy into learning, building, and improving yourself. Growth is the best form of retaliation. If an environment is toxic, step away. You are not obligated to stay in spaces that drain your energy. Elevation isn't just about success. It's about protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Prioritize your peace over proving a point. Smart people understand that their true mission in life is bigger than any petty argument. They refuse to let distractions pull them away from their calling. Toxic people want one thing, to bring you down to their level. But when you refuse to engage, when you elevate, instead, you strip them of their power. Because the best revenge isn't fighting back. The best revenge is success. It's happiness. It's peace. It's living a life so full of purpose that their negativity becomes irrelevant. So choose elevation, keep rising, and watch as the ones who tried to bring you down fade into the background. Toxic people thrive on engagement, but smart minds know better. They understand that disengagement is power, emotional control is key, and boundaries are non-negotiable. They don't absorb negativity, they observe it, learn from it, and move on. They use silence strategically, refusing to waste energy on battles that don't serve them. And most importantly, they choose elevation over confrontation, understanding that success, growth, and inner peace are the best responses to toxicity. At the end of the day, you can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to protect your energy, focus on your purpose, and rise above the noise. The smartest individuals don't get lost in petty conflicts. They stay focused on what truly matters. So remember this, your greatest strength lies in your ability to walk away, to remain unshaken, and to let your success do the talking. Keep your mind sharp, your energy guarded, and your focus unbreakable. Because the moment you stop engaging with toxicity, you step into your true power. Thank you.